across the river deep and wide, where steel and water did collide. A place called Boulder on the wild Colorado.
Again, please welcome
I slipped and fell into the wet concrete below. They buried me in that gray tomb that knows no sign, but I'm still around. I'll always be around.
Sounds to me like the message of liberty has already arrived. Well, it's great. It's great to see this enthusiastic crowd. It's great to see so many supporters who believe in the Constitution and limited government. I have been positively pleased with the way the campaign is going. I have to admit that 6 months ago I was very reluctant, not realizing how many of you would be out there and supporting the campaign. I've come to the conclusion that there have been a lot of you and a lot of new people joining, and I'm delighted to have that happen. But one thing that's very interesting is that a lot of young people have joined this campaign. I understand young people know something about the Internet. Anybody hear about the Internet and the organization of the Internet? It's been great. We have a hard time keeping up. I'd like to claim the success of that, but it really has happened spontaneously. There are more than 700 meetup groups today. And this is all spontaneous. The fundraising is going well and keeps picking up. So everybody, I'm always asked, why are we not getting more votes in the polling, national polling? Well, it just may be that we need a little bit more work, and we have to translate all those supporters and all the enthusiasm into votes. But the most important thing is the message. It's not about me as much as the message. I've been talking about the message for a long time, for 30 years, off and on. The message is very simply that of freedom and liberty, the Constitution, and what America's all about. It's a message that people respond to, and something that the Republican Party used to stand for, and unfortunately I think we've lost our way as a party. We have become a party of big government. We are a party of entitlements and more departments, and one where we have lost our way even on foreign policy. In the past, in foreign policy, we used to pick up the pieces that the Democrats gave to us, and yet today we do not have the humble foreign policy that we were promised. So, quite frankly, I think the traditional Republican, traditional American, the constitutional foreign policy and the foreign policy of the founders, that of minding our own business, is a great policy, and we ought to change it. This campaign espouses the principles of individual liberty, but liberty is not two pieces. It's not personal liberty and economic liberty. Liberty is one thing. Your right to your life and your right to the fruits of your labor is all one, and we need to put it back together again. But it's held together by the Constitution. The Constitution is what brings us together. It's welfareism and socialism that divides us, because everybody's clawing at the remaining portion of the pie is in Washington, because they take from us and they take it to Washington and they waste it. And yet today the country is divisive, and yet freedom and the Constitution brings diverse groups together because we want to leave people alone. Let them have their own lives. Don't tell people what to do. As long as they don't hurt people, they ought to have a right to their own lives. My personal opinion is all this concern we have for liberty cannot supersede the concern for life, and that is all life. You cannot be careless, throw small babies away that weigh 2 and 3 and 4 pounds and say that they're not a person and they don't have legal rights. If you get careless with the definition of life, you can get careless with the definition of liberty. So I say protect all human life. that I have talked about since 1974, the first time I ever ran, was the issue of finances and money. And today we are witnessing the consequence of a monetary system that has gone astray. Not only should we repeal 1913 and get rid of the income tax and the 16th Amendment, but we need to reassess our values on the monetary system, because there is no authority in the Constitution for a central bank. There is no moral authority to allow a secretive central bank create money out of thin air, because it leads to nothing but trouble.
Yeah. Woo!
System of money that allows the Federal Reserve to create money for the benefit of the Congress that spends too much is something that is very, very destructive, and that's why governments get so big. But when you do that, you devalue the currency, you devalue the value of the money goes down, prices go up, and people get hurt, and the people that get hurt first are the middle class and the poor, and they suffer from this. At the same time, much wealth is transferred to the wealthy class. The idea of money has to be addressed, because it represents the growth of big government, it represents monetary interference and these bubbles that burst. And this past week, it required, around the world, to contain the markets, over $300 billion injected into the system to maintain this bubble, which is not maintainable. And this can't last. Therefore, what do we do about this terrible problem? Return to the Constitution. The Constitution still says that only gold and silver can be legal tender, and the Constitution said you cannot emit bills of credit, which is paper money. So all the problems we see, whether they're social problems and personal choices and state rights problems, the problems are large, but the solutions are not difficult. And I am convinced that even in the midst of a financial crisis, a lot of people's standard of living will go down, and a lot of wealth will be lost. But there's one thing that has to be preserved, and we won't have to worry about tomorrow, and that is our freedom to go to work and have a sound currency and get the government off our backs and out of our pockets, and we'll be okay. Very quickly, because I understand I have a limited amount of time, I want to just say something about national sovereignty. To start off with, I'm the individual that has introduced in every Congress the bill that says we should get out of the United Nations. And therefore it follows that we shouldn't be in the WTO, the IMF, the World Bank, CAFTA, or NAFTA, and we we certainly should reject the idea of a North American Union, and if I were to be your president, I will not allow that to happen.
Many a young maid lost her baubles to my trade. Many a soldier shed his lifeblood on my blade.